David Sutter from Wyopreps.com here, and our Athlete of the Year awards are presented by our great friends at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Wyoming and in partnership with our friends at Wild Gear. And it is my pleasure to present this year's first ever Wyopreps Athlete of the Year for boys wrestling. It goes to none other than Thunder Basin senior Antonio Avila. Antonio, this is your award. I'll explain this coming up, but you hear me say Wrestler of the Year, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush. It was a really tough decision, maybe the most difficult in the winter sports, or one of them. It was right there, neck and neck. When you hear me say that, what's going through your mind, young man?
Brings nothing but excitement. Because I've definitely worked hard this year, and I mean I wouldn't be able to do it with any of the coaches and support that I have here, so it means a lot.
Well, you're the first ever because this is our first year doing these awards, so that's kind of significant. I would have to imagine.
Yeah, that's definitely awesome.
Talk a little bit about your season and I'm just talking strictly the high school season here in Wyoming. How would you describe or characterize that for you?
Um, I mean, wrestling season for me, I mean, I put so much hard work into it, and it's pretty grueling. It's a long 3 months for me, but I mean, it's my favorite time of the year, obviously, and I get to do what I love the most, and getting out there and showing what I do in the wrestling room, with the coaches putting in the work for me and stuff. I mean, it's a long season, but I mean, it's what I love to do, and it's just important. It's really important for me. So.
You were one of the few around the state, and there's a few other wrestlers, as I mentioned, that went undefeated this year. What did that mean to you, and especially coming off a junior year where you were undefeated? So you go undefeated your last 2 years, but in particular to finish undefeated in your high school career as a senior, what did that mean this season?
To me, I mean, it felt like the perfect cherry on top for, I mean, the past 2 years of hard work. I mean, I went from having one loss my freshman year, and then I think it was five losses my sophomore year. I mean, those five losses, they were pretty devastating for me my sophomore year, but I mean, it kind of fueled the fire a little bit more and gave me the fuel to work hard and practice, and it showed these last 2 years of going undefeated.
Speaking of working hard in practice, and you talked about it, you wouldn't be here without your teammates, your coaches. What were you really nitpicking on this season to make sure you were going out on top?
For me this year was a lot of my mindset and believing in myself and my techniques, and then just working on my feet with like getting to my shots, being the aggressor and just getting to what I work on in practice.
Was there any point in the season that kind of stood out to you more than any other during the high school season?
I think the beginning it was really good, but I think in Ronthon it really showed. I mean, I felt like I dominated my bracket pretty well, and that's the toughest bracket. Yeah, the toughest bracket in the state. So I mean, I felt like that showed the most.
Well, and for you, obviously, and we've talked about this because we talked just after state wrestling that you're a four-time champ, but maybe more than that, what did it mean to bring home the first team title in school history?
I mean, it was awesome. I mean, being a part of that. I mean, we've been so close every other year, and finally getting the team morale and everything like that. The camaraderie. I mean, just being a part of this team meant a lot for me, and finally bringing home the title for not only myself but for the whole town. I mean, it was just really awesome.
Was there something different about this year's team that put you guys over the top compared to being so close as you mentioned the previous years?
I mean, there's a little bit of a difference. I mean, we've always been a hard working team, but this year, I mean, we had a lot of great guys who really dedicated themselves to wrestling this year, and that's what really set us above all the other teams, I think.
What's it like to wrestle for Coach Kader and the rest of that staff? And how did they really assist you this year?
Wrestling for Kadera is awesome. I mean, he's invested in us, and he puts all his time and effort into us, which is really awesome. And he's always there for us no matter what, coaching us. And I mean, the coaching staff, they're awesome too. They're always in our corners no matter what, and it's great getting to wrestle for them.
Was there any match that stood out to you more than another during the year?
I felt like my favorite match this year was against the three-timer from Lingle Fort Laramie, Caleb Brothwell. That
Okay.
was I was really looking forward to that match, and I felt like I did pretty well against him this year, and I got to my stuff and did what I did.
Well, I think one, you go undefeated, but I think you only had one decision this year. Everything else
Hmm.
was bonus point victories. That's pretty
Yeah,
impressive, young man. Was that a
yeah,
goal?
yeah. That was so. Kadera has us set 3 goals every year, and one of my goals was to beat everybody by a major or more. And I mean, I one match against that I think he's two-timer out of Sydney. That match was
Montana.
tough, but I mean,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
All right. All right. All right. Well, congratulations. You're our first ever athlete of the year. This is our prize. It's not a standard prize, but it's something you can use. It is laser engraved, thanks to our great friends at Wild Gear and our presenting sponsor, Blue Cross Blue Shield. But this is, it's going to say Wyopreps on it. It says athlete of the year, and it's not going to rub off or anything like this. The cool
Mhm.
feature about this is it's got a magnetic cap, so you don't hopefully lose the
Sweet.
cap too soon.
Oh yeah.
But I will find a way to get this to you sooner than later. But congratulations again on being our first ever Wyopreps athlete of the year for boys wrestling here in the state.
Thank you. I appreciate it.